Guys, sorry it hasn't been working out so well. For some reason, Zoom has been acting different today. I can no longer pull up my videos. I have a signed up account, and yeah, I'm not sure. I pay $14.99 a month, I believe, and now it's all of a sudden I can't actually record my videos, so it's a little weird. But I thought I'd go live on here for a little bit and jump in and see what everybody's up to. If anybody wants to come on and talk, feel free to. I'm just going to be kind of here hanging out. But I don't know. I was hoping that the YouTube video would at least go up, and that went up. But for some reason, can't get the Zoom meeting working. So I was actually thinking about making a different video the other day. I have this film that I found when I was working. It's a bunch of 8mm film, and I thought it was interesting. Here, let me see if I can pull some of it out. So I got this box the other day. Well, about, I don't know, 3-4 months ago, something like that. And basically it had all this 8mm film in it that some of them are labeled with random things. Some of them have a lot more in them. And like the other day, I was looking through some of them. Some of the names are like history. Some of them are like, oh, you want more Michael McIntosh? Yeah, Edwin, I'd be happy to get more Michael McIntosh. Right now, he's currently working on recalling some more memories with me, and we're planning on doing a show here pretty soon. As soon as we can, I plan on getting him back on. When we were talking about something in our last show, we were able to recall a memory for him when it came to going to Mars with Andrew Basiago and Barack Obama. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to come on again shortly, probably within the next week or so. But got to get this Zoom call figured out. Right now, I can only get his audio on, and I'd like to get his video on as well. So hopefully we can work on that next. Yeah. Well, thank you, Edwin, for tuning in. Glad you got a chance to catch us live and see his show. Yeah, he's got a lot of really good information, and I can't wait to get to talk to him more. Is there any questions that you'd like me to ask him, or anything you'd like to know about? If anybody else is in and has any other questions, feel free to ask, and I'll get to them accordingly. But yeah, no, I just was trying to give people an update. I was going to have a show with Randy and Miguel tonight. Oh, well, if you think of anything, feel free to let us know. It's no hurry. I'm thinking, sometime before the end of this week. When he's recalling these memories, he gets sick for some reason. Let me see. He had an actual name for it, and I don't want to misquote him. Let me see. But I was talking to Michael McIntosh the other day, actually earlier today, and I think he has been getting better at getting through some of these problems with recalling these memories. Wernix commands. I might be pronouncing it wrong. Wernix, but it's spelled WERNICKE''S commands, and he seems to be getting better at battling through them. and hopefully he'll be able to not have to take so much time off from feeling bad, because that's the biggest thing that's been happening to him lately is he's been having trouble uh, being able to talk about the things after he recalls them. And I've noticed I've been able to ask him a little bit deeper questions that I don't know if a lot of other hosts have. And so we've been able to bring up some things that he hasn't really thought about. And I don't know if it's just because of the questions I'm asking or if they haven't been asked before or how it works. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing a lot more of what he has to talk about. I was on a show recently with Aaron Morietti. I want to make sure I might be pronouncing that wrong, but he's got a weekly show that he does with Andrew Basiago called The Truth Quest, or The Quest for Truth. I think there's two of them. One's Aaron's a moderator, and that's the one for Andrew Basiago, which is actually his show. And then there's one where Aaron is just hosting, and he talks about the quest for truth, I believe. And he just talks about current events and things going on with the truth movement and trying to get information out. And if you get a chance, check out some of his stuff. He's addressed some of the things that Michael McIntosh has brought up. And I really consider Andrew Asiago to be one of the most credible people in the truth movement. I haven't heard anything that I can actually diminish about what he's saying, and that's the craziest thing about it is I've listened to him probably since 2008, 2009, and one of the most honest people coming off like that. And then at the same time, he's got such great merit in life where he's like, oh, I'm a practicing attorney in Washington. I passed the bar exam. It's like, oh, okay, so you wouldn't expect these people to not have, with those qualifications, not to be somewhat honest and or I don't know, telling the truth. I mean, I know those come together pretty well, but what I mean is I don't see that he would be able to manipulate his story without making any mistakes. And I don't see a lot of mistakes in his story or a lot of people contradicting him. The only thing I have a problem with, which I think is strange with him being a person that passed the bar exam, is he uses eyewitnesses as his, well, besides a picture of himself at Gettysburg, he uses a eyewitness accounts or project participants as his form of evidence. And if any lawyer knows, a eyewitness is one of the least credible things in a court case, just because most of the time when they're under pressure, they do assume things wrong and they do appear to get things wrong. So it's one of those things that happens a lot, but I don't know. Hopefully we'll get Michael back on here soon, probably within the next couple days. Like I said, probably before Friday. He's been talking to me and just been trying to get past some of these commands. And, try to be able to get some more of his messages across. He's got quite a big booklet that he wants to go through, and we're just trying to take it step by step. I want to set up a timeline with him and then get from, the earliest accounts to the farthest accounts. But as you'll see over time of us talking about these stories, a lot of his accounts jump back and forth. I think just the other day we were talking about the fact that he was picked up by some extraterrestrials in, I believe, 2019, got brought back in time to do the Roswell crash, and then got involved with the Roswell crash, and then picked up by the U.S. government, hung out with them for so long, talked to the president at the time, and then eventually got taken back to 2019, where he was, I believe, somewhere in Europe. I'm not sure exactly where, but I know he wasn't in the States. And just plenty of questions to be brought up about those things and where it might go. So If there's anything else or anybody else that you guys would like me to talk to, or if any of the viewers have anybody in mind that they'd like me to look up that they know a way to get in contact with, or maybe yourself has an interesting interview. I like to do conspiracy theory stuff, but at the same time, my channel, I'm kind of putting it together just so that I can interview people in general. I like to hear people's stories. I like to hear what they have to talk about and their experiences. And so that's basically what I do is I sit here and listen to people's stories, ask a few questions to try to keep the conversation going, as well as, my own curiosity. But besides that, I don't have an actual intention or goal with this channel, and that's why I don't know where it's going to go or how it's going to end up. But yeah, it should be an interesting ride, and hope to see as many people following along as possible. And if they have anybody that would be interesting to look up or that I might be able to get a hold of, I have a few radio hosts that I'm in contact with, and I'd be happy to pull them as well to get some more interviews or people that might be interested in getting their story out. What did Edwin say? Edwin, I agree there's something to it for sure. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's like the deeper you go, the more interesting it becomes. Yeah, I mean, the more I hear about it, the more questions I have, and I feel like every time I get one question answered, there's 3 more that come with it. So you're never actually going to get to 100% certainty about anything. I feel like when it comes to time travel, I don't know. I don't understand if it's a different timeline thing or if it's all occurring on the same timeline, how the situation works, maybe parallel universes, and we're visiting. So this is like, I know it's a common theory, but this is kind of my theory of how I try to understand it. If we're thinking of parallel universes as a bowl of like marbles or balls that are close together, I like to think that the marbles closest to the original source, whether you want to call it Earth 1 or whatever, the closest ones to our Earth, the one that we call reality, I assume the closest ones will have the most similar reality. The farther you get away from our parallel Earths and from our singular Earth that we're on currently, I think the farther you get away, the farther the realities are different from our current. And so I think there's a lot of possibilities on how people are traveling through time. I think that's one of the things that I find intriguing about Andrew Asiago's story as well, is because when he's doing his, it's like there's an account where he I don't remember if it's a plasma confinement chamber or what exactly he's using, but he goes back to watch the Lincoln assassination at can't remember the theater name at the moment, but basically every time he goes back there, he sees a different set of events, different people in different spots, and then it all seems to be changing just like a little bit at a time. It's not necessarily the same situation every time. So they seem to come across a lot of different things. And that's why I wonder if it's a parallel universe, if it's a possible same timeline, or how it works. I think it's pretty interesting. But yeah, if anybody else has any questions out there, there's a good chance Michael McIntosh actually might be watching right now. I was talking to him earlier today. I'm not sure if he's still available, and I will send him a message real quick. But if you guys have any more questions in the chat, I'll keep this going as long as we keep the conversation going. I don't want to give you guys too much dead air time. Let me send him a verbal message real quick. Hey, Michael, you still around? Yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll keep this going a little bit longer. Any topics you want to talk about or touch on? Anything you'd like to see on the channel? Anything I'm doing wrong that you definitely like me to fix because it drives you nuts? Always open possibilities. But yeah, let me get back to what I was talking about. There's probably a little bit of delay for when it gets to people live. But what I was talking about is before I got into talking about Michael McIntosh for Edwin, I found these 8mm films, and so I've been slowly going through them. I got myself a projector the other day, and this alone is pretty interesting piece of equipment. It's basically how they used to edit films back in the day, and it was made by Sears. It's called Sears 8mm Action Movie Editor, and it would basically, you could just splice your films together, and it was just old school way of doing films. And I just thought it was super interesting. I got it at a secondhand store in town. It was like $8, and so now I'm actually able to play back these films and watch them. And this is what the editor looks like. You run a reel on one side, and you run it through the other, and it plays it on this little screen for you. Most of them are in black and white, not all of them, but I have a really interesting one of what's it called? A Halloween party from 1946, and it's just super interesting that I didn't realize how many people wore blackface at parties back in the day, and just yeah, it was a really interesting piece of film, and I found it in the Chicagoland area when I was demoing a house, and so they were like, "Hey, you can either have this or throw it away," and I was like, "Oh, I'll check it out," and I just recently got the movie editor where I could actually check out what was on it. So I still have about 4 or 5 films to go through, and hopefully I'll find something interesting on it. But looks like Edwin's got something. I would like to ask Michael if there's an update on Michael Phillips. I haven't heard anything about Michael Phillips from Michael McIntosh, but I would also be interested. Do you know anything about that? And do you? I don't know if he. I don't know what involvement he has with his case. The last public interview I believe that I watched with Michael McIntosh was on Martian Revelations with Gary Legier, who's a great host. I think he's going through some health problems right now, but yeah, he did the last interview I remember seeing from Michael, besides the stuff that he does himself. But or has he heard from him again? Can we talk about the VAC? The VAC, or is it the VAC? And yeah, if you want to talk about any of that, I'd be happy to talk about those things. What have you heard about the VAC, the VAC, or what you're referring to? Oh, looks like we might have somebody joining us here. Sorry about that, guys. I got a person that might want to get in a Zoom call, and then at least you'll have some audio with myself. Oh, the VAC. That VAC. YouTube doesn't want anybody talking about it. I had one video demonetized already because I posted the clip with Jon Stewart going on Stephen Colbert's show, and just a little bit of me commenting about it, with me talking about how awkward Stephen felt and how you could tell he's really good friends with Jon, but didn't want to address any of the things that Jon was talking about. Like we can vaguely talk about it, but at the same time, I can't put up any, because this is just me speculating on it, and that's all I can call it, is me speculating on it, because I'm not a medical expert, and only approved medical experts are actually allowed to talk about it. So that's the hardest part about it. I'd love to, but it's kind of a pain. But yeah, I wish I could. So who is Michael Phillips, and what do you know about Michael Phillips that I don't know? Because I definitely haven't heard of him before, but I would love to know a little bit more about him and what to ask about him. Let's see here. Well, we've been going for a little bit of time now. So if you guys see this video later after it's posted, if you don't catch it live, feel free to put any name in the comments that you would like me to look up. If you yourself have an interesting story that you'd like to be interviewed on, it's there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to dabble into. Let me see here. Time traveler that went on Apex TV and then started doing live streams on his YouTube channel. Let me see if I can bring it up and figure anything out about it. Let's see here. We have Michael Phillips. Probably have to add time travel to it because there's quite a few Michael Phillips. Let's see here. 2075 reveals details about World War III. Okay. What was it? Well, I know Al Bielik's story pretty well. I also know a lot of the other people involved in the Montauk experiment, but I don't know a lot about Michael Phillips. I'm going to have to dive into that tonight. He's got claims about 9/11. He's got claims that he traveled to 2075. He was born in 2043. Some interesting stuff. Time Some of the related searches that come up right away are time traveler from 3036, time traveler from 5000. Wow, there's a lot of interesting ties. But Michael McIntosh is also one of the first people that comes up in that search as well. So yeah, I'll have to look at some of these. There's a lot of videos. Okay, so I have seen this video of the bald gentleman. I didn't know he claimed to know Teeter, which I do know about Teeter's story, and I do like that story a lot. He's got an interesting. So everybody likes to disclaim Teeter. And this falls back to the timeline thing we were just talking about, or I was just talking about. I don't understand why people denounce Teeter, because I do think there's more than, or Titer, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I do think there's more than one of him. I do think that we've had multiple versions of him on our timeline, and I wonder what timelines they came from, or parallel dimensions that they came from, because I don't believe it's higher or lower dimensions. I believe it's parallel universes, not dimensions. Parallel universes that they might have came from into our own somehow. But I'm a big fan of Steins Gate, and they dabble a lot in that story. It's probably my favorite anime. I don't watch a lot of anime, and that one's basically all about time travel, and you can find a lot of good dubbed versions, because I'm not gonna lie, I can't read the subbed versions when I'm actually trying to zone out and enjoy a good time travel flick. But it says all his videos have been removed, and it's like he never existed. Yeah, that's the one, the bald guy. Okay, yeah, so we're thinking about the same guy. I have seen him sit down in front of a camera. When I originally saw the video, and some of the other videos on Apex, so I think there's a lot of videos on Apex that I don't necessarily believe, but I think it'd be fun just to dive into them and see what you can find further on them, because there seems to be a decent amount of stuff on there when it comes to several different time travel cases, and yeah, it'd be something to dive into. I'd want to look into it a little bit more. I'll probably end up doing that more tonight, and then maybe set up a time here soon, and I'll go live again, and maybe figure out if I can talk a little bit more about him, because I'll have more questions for Michael McIntosh now involving him, and if he knew him or anybody like that. If there's anybody else on your short list of time travelers to get a hold of, gosh, man, there's so many people that I've missed the opportunity. Like, I'm so sad that I got involved with doing this channel later in life and not earlier, because I would love to talk to Al Bielik, or Preston Nichols, I believe, just passed away recently. I believe, unless Duncan Cameron just passed away, I believe Duncan Cameron might be the only one still alive involved with the project. There's so many people that I would love to talk to, including Randy Kramer, and of course, Corey Good and people like that would be fun to talk to, but I feel like their story gets repetitive at a certain level, and it's the people that don't have their stories out very much is the ones I actually want to hear from when it comes to conspiracy theories. So yeah, there's a lot of ones that I'm interested in diving into. So hopefully that'll be something I get to do here soon. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and if you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask them. I'll hang out for another 5 or 10 minutes, figure out if anybody has any more questions, and if we don't have anywhere to go with it, I'll wrap it up soon. But basically, as long as you're on here talking, we'll we'll keep it going a little bit longer. But after that, I'm gonna have to silence it out. But I do appreciate the viewers either way. So anytime I can do these live ones, if you want me to keep doing these live ones and giving you guys updates, just let me know in the comment section or right now, and I'll do my best to keep updating you guys and letting you know who I got coming up. And I'm trying to get a regular scheduled time for most people, but everybody's on a different time zone. One of our regulars is in Brazil. We have one in let me see, West Coast, I believe, and then just a bunch of different people. Some in the Chicagoland area, and just trying to coordinate these times to my Central Standard Time. So if we get it dialed in where we want it, our regular scheduled shows are going to be from anywhere between 4 to 6 Central Standard Time, just to keep it going right and give people a general idea of when we're going to be here and where to find us. Let's see here. Someone said, the ones that have been suppressed are the ones that seem to be the most authentic. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, that's usually the reason that they're getting suppressed, is because somebody's trying to belittle that bit of information. And I had this is one of my main criticisms of people in the truth movement that have been able to tell their story so freely. That was one of the reasons I believed Bob Lazar, was because his story was about him getting ran off the road and him not being able to tell his story without being silenced or without being threatened. And then when I see these truth claimants that can go on anywhere and say anything they want, basically, with no threat and no warning from a government entity, Men in Black, anything like that, I just think it's strange which people are being silenced and which ones aren't. So I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I'll try to keep you updated. Maybe I'll do these regular notifications just to get my viewership up. We got about 10 subscribers now. Yeah, share it and share it with your friends, and I'll try to be around more. Right now, I'm doing it for free, so I'm trying to maximize the efficiency of it as best as possible. So that I can tune in a little bit more and give you guys more content. I'll try to keep it steady. But yeah, I'm glad you guys are tuning in, and thank you, Edwin, for talking tonight. And I'm glad you found my channel as well. If there's anything you think of after we get off, feel free to ask in the comments. It helps the algorithm. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. But yeah, I will. I'll make a promise that we'll get a show on with Michael before the end of this week. It's Tuesday, so yeah, it's about to be Tuesday, and in my time, and we'll definitely get something up so that we can keep this going really steady. I know I'm gonna have my regular show with Michael Penna, and we're gonna be talking religion and just current events and kind of just shooting the shit a little bit. I'm going to be opening up a new interview that I want to do here pretty soon, where I'm going to be interviewing somebody who speaks fluent Portuguese, and basically Michael is going to act as a translator, because that's what he does on his regular job, is he actually translates script, I believe. And so yeah, he's going to act like a middleman, and I'll get an authentic story from somebody who grew up in that area and can introduce me to the culture a little bit more. I think it'd be interesting. Like I said, I'm here to hear people's stories and whatever they got to talk about. Open stories on there. All right. We'll give everybody a toast good night. And everyone, make sure to tune in and get some of our upcoming shows. And hopefully we will see you soon and we'll get something put together. All right. You guys have a good night and talk to you soon. Thanks, Edwin, for tuning in. And we'll make sure to keep you updated and keep you going with everything we got going on. Thanks, Ash.